Many of Donald Trump's recent interviews are so short form where he gets such little time to really flesh out his bonkers answers. There's just sort of less of an opportunity for him to hang himself with his own rope. And don't get me wrong, like he still looks like a fool. If you look at that recent interview he did with Mark Levin, he did admit to crimes, specifically obstruction, during the interview, completely unprovoked. So he's not coming off like an angel in those interviews. But I have a new interview from this week that's a little bit different, where Trump was allowed to sort of go longer, maybe less constrained because it was on Newsmax than by the sort of fast paced nature of the Fox News interview. You might know that Sean Spicer, one of Donald Trump's former press secretaries, now has a show on Newsmax. And Trump appeared on that show, and he got an opportunity to answer different types of questions. And not only is he sort of slurring up a storm and sounding disoriented, as often is the case, he's making no sense in terms of the substance either and telling countless lies, but lies that are important. Why? Because they signal Trump's plan for 2022 and maybe even for 2024 in terms of Republican strategy and in terms of his involvement. So let's look at the first clip. The topic of Trump's social media company, Truth Social, comes up. We talked on the bonus show earlier this week. Donald Trump hired Republican Congressman from California, Devin Nunes, to run it. Devin Nunes is going to be resigning from Congress in order to run Trump's social media company. And immediately, Trump is bomb throwing when asked about the fact that there's an ethics investigation into Devin Nunes. Of course, there's ethics investigations into many members of Congress, some Republicans, some Democrats. There's nothing particularly pernicious about this one, but immediately Trump is bomb throwing. Take a look at this.
Apparently, according to other reports today, is already looking at that company. So can you comment on Devin Nunes' role and the SEC?
Well, I don't know anything about the SEC. I do know that Devin is fantastic, and I guess we just put out a release, and the release says that he'll be coming on. And, this is just a continuation of witch hunts. Anything you do, they want to look at it. They look at it. They don't look at themselves. They don't look at Hunter. They don't look at anybody. All they do is look at Republicans. Devin is a fantastic guy. I think that he will do an incredible job. If our side doesn't have a voice, eventually you're going to end up with pure communism. It's a disgrace what's going on, but you're going to end up with a communist nation. And so Devin, we just put out the release on Devin. We're very proud of that. We're proud of him. And I think it's got a chance of being a very important day, actually. I think it's going to be a very important day.
Always a victim. Devin Nunes is a victim. The right are victims of the social media left wing. Everybody's communists, on and on and on. Now, hilariously, this entire interview, as are many of the ones Trump has been doing lately, are supposedly to promote Trump's book. The thing about Trump's book is that it's a picture book, which is just amazing. And in this next clip I'm going to play for you, they have to suck up to Trump. They always do. And Sean Spicer sucks up to Trump by saying, "We understand you wrote all of the captions for the book." Because remember, it's a picture book. Most presidents writing books, Trump instead publishing a picture book in which he writes the captions. It's beyond parody, but the topic is Trump's opinion of what Mike Pence did on January 6th. Take a look.
Sure.
Mr. President, in the book, there's a picture of you with Vice President Pence, and you talk about the caption that you wrote, and I understand you wrote all the captions on these photos, says that you got along great except on one issue. Vice President Pence on Thursday said that he did the right thing on January 6th. In your mind, did he do the right thing, and is that obviously the one thing that you didn't agree with him on?
Totally, and he didn't do the right thing, and he's a person who's a good person. He didn't do whatever it is that you might say he should have done, because, and I think you agree with me, and a lot of people agree with me, if you see that the election was fraudulent, if you see that there are more votes than there are voters, if you see many of the things that went along, and they're coming out on a weekly basis, more and more and more, and you'll be seeing more come out. It's not me. It's states now. Look at what's going on in Pennsylvania. They're sending subpoenas to many people. And now the federal government will try and stop that because they don't want that to happen. They got away with something that is, in my opinion, the crime of the century. And instead of going after Antifa and BLM and all these people that killed a lot of people and burned down our cities and what they did, the destruction, they're going after people that were protesting the election. The election was the insurrection. The November 3rd date was the insurrection. The January 6th date was not the insurrection. That was the protest.
This is really stunning stuff. Trump is still saying it was Pence's choice not to do what he could have done to steal the election from the guy who really won it. And as we've heard from numerous legal scholars, Pence could not have done anything to steal it. Pence realized he couldn't steal the election, and he wasn't going to make any kind of buffoonish attempt to try. And that was the right perspective. Pence sought legal counsel on that, and the legal advice was very, very much sound. The other notable thing about this is that Trump has stopped even pretending that the violence on January 6th was bad or that it was carried out by his supporters. He wants to play it both ways. Trump's new story, which he seems to be sticking with, is the insurrection was the November election. I really won, and they did an insurrection, and they stole it, and it led to Joe Biden being declared the winner. That was the insurrection, per Trump. January 6th, on the other hand, that was a protest. It was a logical protest because the election was stolen. It was a peaceful protest by my supporters, Trump supporters. But any violence that there was Black Lives Matter, and it was Antifa, of course, a claim for which there is absolutely no evidence. And despite that, it is Trump's supporters that are being treated poorly. That's not only an inaccurate revision of history, it's a very dangerous one. Because if it convinces many people, and it's convincing quite a few, it is part of this possible next coup attempt that we talked about on yesterday's program. Then, and this is the last clip that we'll look at, although if this is interesting, if you can stomach this, I encourage you to find the entire interview. It's available online. Trump then does his routine of stating states in which he did very well. He sort of stops short of saying, I won these states, but they're states where we did well. And these are states Trump is looking at being involved in 2022. And so this is actually massively consequential. And we're going to talk about why in a moment. But first, let's look at the clip.
Than most, but we won big numbers in Missouri, and you did mention Ohio, where we'll also be involved. But we have time. I mean, there won't be primaries for quite a while in all of those states, and we have some time. Interesting things going on in this place that I love is Pennsylvania. You have a lot of very interesting candidates in Pennsylvania too. So we're going to be involved in the process, yeah.
Okay. Mr. President, congratulations on the book, Our Journey Together. It's out tomorrow. It's available at 45books.com. As always, your time is greatly appreciated, and thank you for honoring us.
Well, thank you both very much, and keep up the good work. You're doing great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So why is this so important? It's important because this is the clearest signal yet from Trump that he will be involved in 2022 races. And he mentions Missouri. He mentions Pennsylvania. Maybe he's going to support Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania. And he mentions some other states. Now, this is a signal from Trump about his intentions. The question that remains is whether the candidates want Donald Trump involved. But if he can raise money for them, I imagine they are certainly going to let him do it. And without a doubt, Trump's preference would be involved, endorse and campaign for people who win, and use those successes, if it happens, to justify running in 2024 and being the Republican nominee by saying, look at what I did for us in the midterms. That's his plan. He's making it very clear right now, and it very much might work. One of our sponsors is Kamikoto, making elegant, high-end, beautiful Japanese steel kitchen knives using traditional techniques from Honshu, Japan. I've been a big fan of Japanese kitchen knives for a long time. They have some great advantages. When you look closely at a Kamikoto knife, You see the quality of the ironwork. They only use Japanese steel. Every knife comes in a perfect heavy-duty ash wood box, makes storage really easy. It looks great in your kitchen or drawer. The balance of the knives is just amazing. I've been using them for everything. Every knife comes with a lifetime guarantee. On their website, you can see the complete list of chefs at Michelin star restaurants who use Kamikoto. And through this partnership they're doing with us, Kamikoto is giving you $50 off on top of their other special offers. Just go to kamikoto.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman for $50 off. The link is down below.